What's good, YouTube family? We're back again with another YouTube video. It's been a long time since I actually did a story time. The last time I did one was probably the first video I did, and I was sharing my experience with how difficult it was coming here and everything. But you know, almost 1 year later, pretty much, and we all settled in, new apartment and everything nice. I'll do a little tour about that too, around about next week. But you know, I was supposed to drop a vlog. Yes, I was supposed to drop my race week vlog for the Olympics. But YouTube had to say what's up, you know. But before we get into that, we're gonna run it up.
Jumping out the 3, man, it's now or never, never, never. Going home, never, never. What we did was off the record. Just had a deep thought in myself, baby, wrist riding around, we gon' take the...
Alright, now, so y'all probably already know by now, obviously I'm at the University of Houston and I've been studying here for a little over a year. Yeah, I'm a sophomore now, and yeah, the recruiting process was quite a tricky one, but I got it done and I handled it pretty smoothly when I was trying to get recruited. So this process really started around about 2019 mid-year. I was like, okay, you know what, man, the boy is trying to, like, you know, do something with this track stuff. So obviously around about mid-June 2019, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, during, like, you know, I was chilling basically in matric, because I was like, yeah, my senior in high school. I was just like chilling. I'm like, okay, nah, I think I actually need to be serious. And then I actually started reaching out. Then I reached out to like a couple of my friends. I reached out to Nolo Lamau. He's still studying in Florida State. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, yo, nah, you know, how did you go about this? Because obviously you're doing well for yourself over there that side. And you know, he put me on to some people, and obviously these people were ASM in this instance. And then, you know, I worked with ASM pretty much the whole way through. And then even now, you know, we still keep in good contact. So we're like, you know, we're in good terms. So yeah, but around about mid-June, I was like, okay, yeah, nah, I'm actually gonna commit. I need to go to like a university in the States, because I knew, like, you know, I wanted something different. I also wanted to like take my academics seriously. So I'm like, okay, let me start that process. I reached out to like the number he gave me, and then the guy who works with ASM, David. Pretty much everything started going smoothly from there, and then he met my parents and then my coach, because I also want to keep my coach in the loop. I think the most important thing for athletes is to always make sure your current coach is in the loop of things. Don't do things behind his back. Like, I started talking to my coaches and so forth, you know, both of them, because I was being coached by two coaches at that time in high school. So I had to keep them both in the loop. Like, listen, you know, I'm thinking about going to the States. How do you feel about it? So forth and so forth. You know, we were having those conversations freely without like anyone having any sort of like, you know, resentment, like, you know, because some coaches generally don't want to lose their athletes, you know, obviously. So, and you know, sometimes some other coaches will be like, oh yeah, no, I understand, you want to grow and so forth and so forth. Some coaches might take it the wrong way or disrespectful way, you know. But I was just grateful that my coach, Coach Yao, you know, he was with me throughout the whole system. You know, he actually pushed for me to go to the States. Cool. So yeah, the boy, you know, started finding out about the whole system and everything, and then I reached out to ASM, and they told me that, okay, yeah, now you're gonna need to probably do SATs, so forth and so forth, gather your transcripts literally from grade 8, and you know, it can be a little tough if you bounce around schools, because now you have to contact like the admissions office and be like, hey, yo, can you guys send these transcripts to this school? And you have to like constantly press, like you must press. You know, Mzansi things at home, bruh. You know, if you're not pushing, they're not gonna do it. They'll say, nah, system's offline. You know, hey, good evening, guys, home affairs, you'll just hear the system offline. We're next week, but like, you know, so, but anyways, yeah, put that aside. I reached out, thank God, I was staying in the same school, so I just reached out to the admissions office. They told me, okay, we'll do it for you, we'll mail everything, because you have to like, it's quite a process as an international student, because you still have to go through the NCAA eligibility. That's where you send your transcripts to, and then after that they process everything. They tell you, okay, you're eligible. They look at compliance and matters like that. But before we get into that, pretty much, yeah, like around about September now 2019, I write my prelims. As soon as I write my prelims, I write my SATs. And then my SATs, I think I scored like 1100. Yeah, like I got like 1100. But I didn't study, like I just freestyled, and you know, hey, at least 1100 I think is somewhat decent. It's better than average, I know that. But yeah, and then after that, I already submitted some of my transcripts, and then ASM was kind of like in the background of everything, like making sure they're reaching out to the coaches and so forth, because all I had to do was tell the guy I was working with, Fabian, I'm like, okay, yeah, nah, this is my top 10, maybe top 20. And then he'd also tell me like other schools like who want me, you know. So I had like about 30-40 offers. I couldn't count you know. But also, like, you know, the better you are academically and like via sports, the better your offer is. It's simple as that, you know. It's not hard work. It was not a complicated situation, you know, plain and simple. So by December 2019, now I graduated. As soon as I graduated, you know, I went to VAC and everything. Life was good. And then I started reaching out to like the coaches. Now I could talk to the coaches because now I graduated. I'm talking to the coaches. I'm like, okay, I know I'm feeling this university, that university, and now I'll tell Fabian, you know, like, Fabian, okay, I'm feeling like, you know, Florida State, University of Houston, LSU, you know, pretty much like the big schools, because that's what, like, you know, that's what I'm always hearing in the sprint side of things, for example. But whichever sport you do, you must just make sure you also do your own background research. Don't just go because of name. That's the most important thing, I'd say. Don't go because of name. Because if I went because of name, I might have been in a different situation, you know. But I mean, U of H is still a big university though. But yeah, then December I spent that time about like negotiating and seeing, okay, which top 5, what's my top 5. And then I would contact the coach. I'm like, do you still have like offers? Because like a lot of universities run out of money, you know, so because they give out too many scholarships, or like everyone's already on scholarship and people are coming back and so forth. So you also have to put that into consideration. Then I was like, oh, then I spoke to Coach Carl. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, is there a meet happening like in the States around about this period? Do you know of any meets, or like a website I can see the meets? And then they told me that, yeah, no, we have a meet here and there, and fine. I'm like, okay, now I'll probably run that meet, and then I'll go my visit the next day or 2 days, whatever. And then that's how we planned it. Then January, obviously, I came to the States, started off in Louisiana, went to Alabama, went to TCU, then came back to Houston to finish off. And, you know, pretty much you have to experience the school. I would say the best experience, or like the best decision you can do before you commit to a school, is actually go there and experience campus life, or like somewhat gain an experience of like the people you're going to be dealing with, the facilities, you know, kind of gauge like what's really going to be there for you. Because if you can get a chance to get a visit, you know, depending on the level of athlete you are, some schools will like pay for your flights to come and visit, you know, and like it's part of the recruiting phase. So you need to actually like take it upon yourself. Obviously, the better you are, the easier it is to get recruited. It's simple as that. So yeah, I went to my visits and I enjoyed every one of my visits. Literally, you know, I went to Louisiana, Bama, TCU, and Houston. After that, you know, by then pretty much I was like, okay, I think I already know what's there for me, you know. And some coaches, I always say it's better to tell the coaches like, hey, thank you for the visit, it's all good. I think I'm planning to commit to here and here. So you don't lead them on and give them the false impression that like, oh yeah, nah, he's gonna come, you know. But like after the visit, you must like have time to think about it and then actually like tell them like, okay, yeah, no, I think I've made my decision, I'm going here. So, you know, they know that like, okay, now we just lost a recruit, a possible recruit, rather than like just leading them on, you know. But that aside, I think I committed. And then after that, you still have to do like a whole lot of paperwork, because you still have to make sure you get your matric results or like your senior results when you graduate, and then you have to send them through. And those normally take a long time to get as an international student, you know. So I got that out the way, and then after that, you know, I pretty much chilled between December 2019 and October 2020. Then that's when I really started school. So, you know, the process is not really hard. You don't have to make it hard. You know, if you have the right people or the right system, for example, there's a lot of scholarship media companies anyways. You see them everywhere, like on the gram, on the net. And, you know, all you just gotta do is like reach out to them, speak to them, see what they can do, see how they can help you. Because obviously these things cost money, because, you know, that's people's time and effort and resources that they're using, networks, you know. So essentially, you know, you really have to sit down and really plan everything. You know, it just doesn't happen overnight. And at the same time, you want to make sure that, you know, you're doing what's best for you. If you don't need to leave the country, then don't leave the country, because it's also not an easy thing, like transitioning into a new country. But at the end of the day, I'd say it's not really, it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to make it hard if it's not hard. But at the same time, you got to put your, like, the right amount of like effort in and work in, like academically, like you need to still make sure you're performing, so it's also easier to be recruited. But that is pretty much the story of how I went D1. I think I summarized it in under 10 minutes. And yeah, the rest is history. I'm here, and I'm enjoying. So, love and light, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for my next YouTube video. If you liked it, like, subscribe, comment, and everything. And you know, my season only starts next year, February. Next year, February. So I'm not going to be doing no meat vlogs for a while, but I'm still going to be doing other YouTube content. So stay tuned.